hurt you that she's around your children?
It does not hurt me, no. More than anything, I go into protective mode. Like, I'm never going to trust someone who adored my family setup so much that they worked their ass to come between it. Of course, with the help of him, but still.
Hey, our children are perfectly fine.
Like I said, for me, knowing that they are around someone who has said such nasty and vile things about their mother and about
all those babysitters that you had, 11 babysitters
who said multiple things
you know
about their father.
11
See how
babysitters.
he defends her? He's bringing up something directly at me when I'm talking about a person who has for years, as he knows, tried to torture and come in between our marriage, DMing me. See, he knows all of those things, and I can keep going. So when he sits there and tries to defend, how dare you?
It's finally happening. Carlos King, the man behind some of the most talked about reality TV moments, is done staying silent. After months of whispers, accusations, and jaw-dropping drama between Martell Holt and Melody Shari, Carlos has stepped forward to share what he really thinks. And trust me, when the king of reality TV speaks, people listen. For too long, Carlos watched from the sidelines while Martell spiraled out of control, taking aim at his ex-wife, throwing shade online, and using every chance he got to paint himself as the victim. But now, Carlos is breaking his silence and calling out the toxic behavior that's been unfolding right before our eyes.
Life is good, God is good, okay? So, in case you missed the other live earlier, I need a bag, so I had to. So in real life, I always call Marlo, okay? I always call Marlo when I'm out shopping because she is my person. So, you know, y'all get a chance to see who I am in my real life, not stuff you hear about.
What started as a love story turned into a war zone. Melody tried to move on, rebuild her peace, and raise her kids, but Martell couldn't let go. And Carlos, he's finally saying what millions of fans have been thinking for years. This isn't just messy reality TV anymore. It's personal, it's painful, and it's time for the truth.
Stop being the victim all the time.
Ooh,
it gets on my nerves.
So everybody just heard everything Martell said.
No, because
said I'm playing the victim.
I wish one day people will see the person that you really are. You throw all the damn stones and hide your hands and be the victim. Because when we start going through stuff, I told you what you weren't doing in the marriage.
So what exactly did Carlos reveal? And why is everyone talking about how brutally honest he was about Martell's revenge phase? Grab your tea, because this one's deep. Before we dive into the chaos, let's rewind a bit, because to really understand why Carlos King's words hit so hard, you've got to go back to how it all started, to when Martell and Melody were one of the most powerful couples on Love and Marriage Huntsville. Back then, they were the dream team, a beautiful couple building businesses, raising a family, and showing the world what Black love and ambition looked like on screen. Fans adored them, the chemistry, the charm, the hustle. Melody was the visionary, and Martell was the ambitious partner by her side.
Listen, this show means a lot to Melissa in a very different way of what it means to Teresa. I think, to your point, listen, I think anybody who watches the show can see that Melissa wants to be the top dog, and she has trouble with Teresa constantly winning in the end. And this, I'm gonna tell you, it was the season where Danielle Staub, one of my favorites of all time.
Yes,
it was the season where Danielle Staub, unfortunately, Melissa, like, Teresa told me to pull the hair. What I saw was this excitement of Melissa getting the tea. Like, well, she did what? And I think in Melissa's mind, she was like, oh, baby, it's going down.
But behind those smiles and success stories, cracks were forming. The love that once looked unbreakable slowly started to crumble. And then the truth came out. Martell had been cheating, not once, not twice, but repeatedly. And when Melody found out the full story, everything fell apart. It wasn't just the betrayal that broke her, it was the humiliation, the way their private pain became public entertainment. The cheating scandal exploded across social media, and every new episode brought another layer of heartbreak.
Playing mind games, that's just what he does. Like him showing up here today with these flowers, this smile on his face like Prince Charming, when we all know that he's responsible for all of the stuff happening on social media pertaining to me. That could change people's opinions about me by him giving these false narratives. He's responsible for that.
For years, Melody tried to keep her composure, to stay strong for her children and her brand. But Martell seemed determined to drag her name through the mud. Every interview, every live session, every reunion, there was always a new dig, a new excuse, a new reason why he wasn't the problem. Fans started calling him out for what they saw as bitterness and ego. But even then, Carlos King, the executive producer and host, stayed quiet. Bound by contracts, he couldn't pick sides, even when it was clear who was hurting and who was doing the hurting. But silence doesn't last forever, and when Carlos finally spoke, he made it clear that he's been watching everything, every insult, every revenge move. Every desperate attempt from Martell to control a story that no longer belonged to him. Here's where things really start to get intense. Carlos King didn't just talk, he analyzed. He broke down Martell's behavior like someone who's seen this story play out too many times before. Sitting down with Dustin Ross, Carlos got brutally honest about what's really driving Martell's actions. And according to him, this isn't about love anymore, it's about control. Carlos said what many have been afraid to admit, that Martell's so-called revenge on Melody isn't just bitterness, it's a pattern, a dangerous one. Every time Melody shines, Martell finds a way to dim her light. Every time she takes a step forward, he tries to pull her 2 steps back. Carlos called it what it is, emotional sabotage. He explained that instead of healing from the breakup, Martell became obsessed with winning, not realizing that his constant attacks were only making him look worse. It's like Martell's trapped in a cycle he created himself, one fueled by ego, hurt pride, and an unwillingness to take accountability. Carlos said it plainly, Martell's biggest downfall isn't what Melody did, it's his inability to face himself. And that's when the conversation got even deeper, because Carlos revealed that Martell's behavior isn't just hurting Melody, it's destroying his own image, his own legacy, and the respect he once had. Fans who once rooted for him are now exhausted. They've watched him lash out, post shady comments, and even involve the kids in his drama. And for what? To prove a point that nobody's buying anymore? Carlos admitted that watching Martell's decline has been sad, because beneath all the chaos, Martell had potential. He had charm, business sense, and charisma. But as Carlos put it, you can't build an empire on revenge. But here's the twist. Carlos didn't just call out Martell's actions. He exposed the real reason behind them. He said Martell isn't just bitter about losing Melody. He's bitter about losing his image, the man he used to be when he was Mr. Melody Holt. Think about it. When they were together, he was on top. The power couple, the brand, the money, everything revolved around their partnership. But once Melody left, that spotlight shifted. Suddenly, Martell wasn't the hero anymore. He became the villain in his own story. Carlos believes that's what Martell can't handle. He's not just fighting his ex-wife, he's fighting the reality that she doesn't need him. And that's when Carlos dropped the line that shook the fandom. Martell's not trying to hurt Melody because he hates her. He's trying to hurt her because she stopped needing him. That one statement went viral because deep down, everyone knew it was true. It's not about love anymore. It's about ego, about control, about a man who can't stand to see the woman he once controlled stand tall without him. And as Carlos kept talking, you could feel the frustration, not just as a producer, but as someone who actually cares about these people. He said he's seen Martell get opportunity after opportunity to grow, to reflect, to change the narrative, but every single time, he chooses drama instead. Carlos explained that even when Martell is given grace, he turns it into conflict. It's almost like he thrives on chaos because peace means facing his guilt. Fans have noticed it too. Many said Martell's social media has become more of a battlefield than a platform. He's always responding to critics, throwing shade at Melody, or posting cryptic captions that seem designed to stir the pot. But Carlos wasn't just criticizing, he was diagnosing. He said Martell's behavior shows signs of deep insecurity and unresolved pain. Instead of seeking therapy or accountability, Martell's chosen revenge. And revenge, as Carlos reminded viewers, always backfires. It's like Carlos said, when you focus on destroying someone else, you end up destroying yourself. And honestly, that's exactly what's been happening. Things took an even more shocking turn when Carlos revealed how Martell's obsession has started affecting the people around him. Friends, family, even castmates, everyone's been caught in the crossfire. During the last Love and Marriage reunion, Martell sat on that stage with the same defensive energy he's always had. No apology, no reflection, just deflection. Carlos said hosting that reunion was one of the hardest moments of his career because he could feel how far gone Martell had become. There was no accountability, no growth, just excuses. At one point, Martell even tried to justify his behavior by claiming he was protecting his image. Carlos shut that down instantly, saying, "You can't protect your image by damaging someone else's." That's when it hit everyone. Martell wasn't protecting anything. He was burning bridges, one by one. Even cast members who once tried to stay neutral started to distance themselves. Marçal and Tisha, who usually avoided picking sides, openly said that Martell's decisions have gone too far. Kimmy even admitted she no longer recognizes the man Martell's become. And the fans? They've spoken loud and clear. Melody has become the symbol of strength and healing, while Martell has become a cautionary tale. Carlos's truth bomb didn't just expose Martell's behavior, it forced people to look at the bigger picture. This isn't just a story about a messy breakup. It's about what happens when pride takes over love, when someone would rather destroy what they built than admit they were wrong. Carlos said something that stuck with a lot of viewers. Martell's problem isn't Melody, it's Martell versus Martell. And that right there sums it all up. No matter how much success, fame, or money you have, if you don't deal with your inner demons, they'll eventually destroy everything around you. Carlos's words hit hard because they came from experience. He's seen countless reality stars rise and fall because they couldn't let go of their ego. And now it looks like Martell is walking that same path. But the most emotional part came when Carlos started talking about Melody. He said watching her rebuild after everything she's endured has been inspiring. Despite the pain, the betrayal, the online attacks, she's remained focused on her peace and her purpose. Carlos praised her resilience, saying she represents what it looks like to choose healing over hate. He said Melody didn't win because she hurt Martell. She won because she stopped letting Martell hurt her. That one sentence summed up everything fans have been feeling for years. Melody didn't need revenge. Her success became her response. Her silence became her power. While Martell is still fighting old battles, Melody's creating new opportunities. From her music to her business ventures, she's showing the world that no matter how messy the past gets, your comeback can be beautiful. And Carlos made sure to give her flowers, publicly, because as he put it, peace is the best revenge. By the end of the interview, one thing was clear. Carlos King didn't just expose Martell, he held up a mirror. He reminded viewers that fame doesn't protect you from accountability, that love can turn toxic when ego gets involved, and that revenge never brings healing. It only keeps you chained to the pain you're trying to escape. He said, Martell still has time to change, but he has to want it. Until then, he'll keep reliving the same story. Different day, same mistakes. And that's the sad truth. Because deep down, Carlos doesn't hate Martell. You can tell he's disappointed. He sees the potential that Martell keeps throwing away. But at some point, even the people who care about you get tired of watching you self-destruct. Carlos's honesty hit a nerve, not just in the fan base, but in Martell himself. Some insiders say Martell wasn't happy about the comments, claiming Carlos betrayed him. But others believe Carlos did exactly what a real friend and producer should do, tell the truth, even when it hurts. So where does that leave Martell and Melody now? Melody's thriving. She's focused on her kids, her career, and her peace. She's learned how to protect her energy and her boundaries, and fans love that for her. Martell, on the other hand, is standing at a crossroads. He can keep feeding the cycle of revenge, or he can finally break it. Carlos's message was clear. If Martell doesn't start taking accountability, his career might not survive another scandal. Reality TV is one thing, but reality always catches up. And as Carlos said in his final words, you can't heal what you keep trying to hurt. When the dust settles, this story won't be remembered for the drama or the gossip. It'll be remembered as a lesson, that love without growth turns to poison, that revenge is never closure, and that sometimes silence speaks louder than any shade thrown online. Carlos King didn't just drop truth, he dropped wisdom. And whether Martell listens or not, well, that's the part only time will tell. Because in the end, every villain has a choice: stay stuck in the chaos, or finally face the truth that everyone else already sees. And thanks to Carlos King, that truth is now out in the open.